The story of waiting for a rabbit by the tree stump. Once upon a time in a small village, there was a farmer named Lee who worked hard every day in the fields. He plowed, sowed, and harvested crops with great diligence. His farm was small but productive, and he had everything he needed to live a contented life. One day, while working in the fields, Lee stumbled upon a peculiar sight. As he was planting seeds near a tree stump, a rabbit suddenly appeared from the woods. The poor creature was running away from something, but in its haste, it ran straight into the tree stump and died instantly. Lee was startled but realized that the rabbit had accidentally delivered itself to him. Without having to do anything, he had gained a meal. Lee thought to himself, "How lucky I am. I didn't even have to work for this food. I just have to wait, and more rabbits will come my way." From that moment on, Lee became very lazy and stopped working in the fields. Every day, he would go to the same tree stump, sit down, and wait for another rabbit to run into it. Days passed, and Lee sat idly by the stump, expecting his luck to continue. However, the rabbits never came. He waited for weeks, but no more rabbits appeared. His crops began to wither, and his farm was neglected. Slowly, Lee's food supplies dwindled, and he became hungry and weak. One day, a fellow villager named Zhang walked by and saw Lee sitting idly by the stump, looking tired and weak. Zhang shook his head and asked, "Lee, why are you sitting here doing nothing? Your fields need attention, and your crops are not growing." Lee explained to Zhang, "One day, I was working here when a rabbit ran into the tree stump and died. I didn't have to do anything to catch it. Since then, I've been waiting for more rabbits to come. But they haven't appeared yet. I'm sure they will eventually." Zhang was shocked. "You can't just sit and wait for things to happen, Lee. That rabbit was a rare accident, not something you can rely on. You must return to your work and take care of your farm." Lee, stubborn and unwilling to listen, refused to believe that sitting and waiting was not a good strategy. "No, Zhang. I am sure that more rabbits will come. Why work hard when I don't have to?" Zhang sighed and left, warning Lee once again to tend to his farm. But Lee remained seated by the stump, waiting for the rabbit that would never come. As the days turned into weeks, Lee's situation grew worse. His fields were overgrown with weeds, and his once thriving farm was now a shadow of its former self. Eventually, the villagers noticed Lee's decline and became worried. They tried to encourage him to get back to work, but Lee, still stubborn, refused to listen. One day, a severe drought hit the village. Without the crops to sustain him, Lee found himself without food. He was weak from hunger, and his once healthy body was now frail. The other villagers, who had continued working hard, managed to survive through the drought, but Lee, who had been waiting for a miracle, was left with nothing. Finally, Lee realized the mistake he had made. He understood that his hope for an easy life, where everything came to him without effort, had been foolish. He regretted not working hard when he had the chance and realized that waiting for luck to strike again was no way to live. With no other choice, Lee gathered his strength and began to work the fields once again. Although it was a hard task, he knew that hard work and persistence were the only paths to success. Slowly but surely, his farm began to recover. He learned that waiting for something to happen without putting in the effort would only lead to disappointment. Moral: the story of Lee and the tree stump teaches us an important lesson. Relying on luck and waiting for good things to come without putting in the necessary effort is a fool's path. Success comes through hard work, perseverance, and taking responsibility for one's actions. The world does not reward those who expect things to happen without putting in the effort.